A dozen have been pared down to 2. The 1 seed, Indiana, will play Miami on the Canes' home field. How much of a home field will it be? We will see when we get there Monday, the 19th of January. That game presented by AT&T on ESPN. Greg McElroy alongside. You were just on the call, and I'm starting with you where I started with Reese.
Yeah.
The impact that this Hoosier crowd had on this game tonight, how would you measure it?
It was because of how the game started, pick six right out of the gate. It was immediate engagement, was it not? I mean, you could feel the place was shaking. And they had said, we talked to Signetti, and he said, just based on the tickets, and, no stones left unturned with him.
Yeah.
We're thinking about 85 to 90% Hoosiers. I'm like, there's no way. Sure enough, I think he might have undersold it.
26 wins for Kurt Signetti, the most by a head coach through his first 2 seasons with the team in the history of the AP poll, and that goes back to 1937. You've been on my show. Maybe you've watched my show. I have tried my best to avoid being hyperbolic.
Of course.
Speak to me honestly about what this Indiana team is.
They are one of the most complete football teams I have ever covered. I've only been doing this 12 years, so it's not like it's some gigantic list, but I've lived in the 4-team playoff era and now the 12-team playoff era. What's most remarkable about this group is there is no weakness. They are really, really good, bordering on elite in every possible phase, from wide receiver to running back to quarterback, of course, super elite. All 3 levels defensively. And I think the other thing, too, that I love about them, Scotty, is that the culture that's been created on offense and on defense, it's not about me. It's about we. It's a collective buy-in that really has kind of allowed them to go to the forefront of college football.
All right, I'm jotting that down because I want to circle back to that thought and how I think that's really remarkable given the era that we're in. But first, let's hear from Dan Lanning and Dante Moore. Oregon had a heck of a year, and it came to a crashing halt thanks to a really good Indiana football team. Here are the thoughts from the Ducks.
We were able to generate, a little momentum there at times, but we were so far in a hole that you really couldn't create yourself out of that. And the takeaways, obviously, they were able to create some. We didn't create those. They won average starting field position throughout the night. Their special teams were special. So you see a really complete team, and I think they have obviously had a great chance to keep it going and have unbelievable success. So credit to Coach Signetti, credit to those players. Obviously, they've got, great leadership and a veteran team that it really showed up.
All right. Thanks, Coach. We'll start questions right here, front row on the right.
Aaron Finches with the Oregonian. This is for Coach Lanning and Dante. You guys seem to feel very confident that you had fixed a lot of the issues that contributed to the poor offensive play in the first game. What went wrong tonight?
Yeah. First things first, as a quarterback, you have to protect the football. And Indiana, of course, has a great defense, great disguise of different looks. But, you can't win football games if you're causing turnovers. So just something, of course, I need to work at. As comes with just, reps. But overall, there was a great Indiana defense, great defense coordinator. But at the end of the day, we beat ourselves.
Yeah, and ultimately, there were moments where we had success offensively. But obviously, when you have the takeaways, you start off with a pick six, you get in a little bit of a hole. You probably start to press a little bit. You get away from some of the success you have in the run game at times, But there's moments that we had some good plays. But that's a damn good team, and credit, you got to give credit to them too. It's not just what we didn't do; it's what they did do.
Greg, Dante Moore is a talented young man. It's a thin quarterback draft. He'll probably go.
Yeah,
should he?
If I were advising him, I'd say go, because how many examples have we seen from guys that come back for another year, chase a championship, and then all of a sudden things fall apart, a la Garrett Nussmeier. So I think when you're already being talked about in the top 5, you have to go.
Understood.
But what I would say, and this is coming from a New York Jet fan who's raising children as Jet fans, we are gluttons for punishment, but such is life when you are a Jet fan.
This is the path you chose.
You have to know that when you draft this young man, it's projection. You're drafting tools. You're drafting ability. But you are not drafting a guy that's plug and play at this moment. There's still a lot of development that needs to be had with him from a footwork standpoint, accuracy standpoint, pocket mobility standpoint. He just has things to iron out at this point.
Well, the Jets need somebody that's ready yesterday. So I hear what you're saying here, and that's as it relates to Moore. Again, that Pons pick started the game. You hand the ball to IU inside the 5, and the route was on. You mentioned the word culture as it related to Indiana. And the reason I jotted it down is because in the era of the portal where you can go, you're a free agent every single year, and they bring in players and they're already loading up for next year. Mark Cuban saying, thanks. They're happier this year. They've got a very old team.
Right.
But a lot of times you can bring in guys that everyone thinks they're going to be the guy. And that means that we're not all for one and one for all. I think that's as impressive as anything. How do you think they've done that?
Well, I tell you what's amazing. And I actually had kind of asked this question to myself. Why do you think that is? And I kind of described it when I asked Brian Haynes and Sean McDonough and everybody were all in there. How do you get guys to intentionally take yourself out of the play in an effort to spring your own player for the sack? For example, along the defensive line, a defensive tackle will go out, take himself out of the play, and then boom, here comes the defensive end. Mm-hmm. And he described it so eloquently and so perfectly. We get guys that want to win more than they want to be drafted.
Wow.
That to me sums up everything about this Indiana football team. Their buy-in, the way they do the little things, the way they complement each other, the way they pick each other up and set each other up as well.
And that speaks to team over everything, because you think of some of the Bama teams that won titles, they had 5 guys go in the first round. This IU team does not have that.
Right.
And yet here they are. They're steamrolling people. Miami, though, has a recipe. They can run it.
Yes.
They can shrink games. And their defense is pretty formidable, too. I would imagine that would be the script. What do you see when you think of that Monday, 19th of January game?
You know, I think Miami can play with anybody. I think their physicality along both lines of scrimmage will neutralize most talent advantages that some teams have.
Most.
Say that with a gigantic caveat, because this team does not get dismantled. You can match their physicality all you want. They're going to beat you with scheme and technique. And they're going to get those big offensive linemen on islands, and they're going to get that big offensive line to not necessarily crumble, but won't be able to play with the same level of unison that you see all the time from Miami's group. The recipe is clear for Miami. You run the ball, you keep Fernando Mendoza on the sideline. Simple. Day number one stuff. The only way that you're going to be able to disrupt his rhythm is with a tremendous internal pass rush. He's really, really athletic. And
how many times did he extend drives with runs? That's the kind of thing you don't think about. Beck did that last night, too, before the touchdown run, right? He had a number of third down scrambles that just kind of get lost in the sauce.
And he also did against Texas A&M. He also did against Ohio State. So I think quarterback mobility is something you have to have nowadays in football, not just in college, but the NFL
like
as
you,
well.
wheels.
That's exactly how they've always described it. Just
notable.
Juice. All the juice you can handle.
Mr. Juice.
Yeah, exactly. But I look at this, I think his mobility, and that's going to be fascinating, too. How does Miami want to rush him? Because if you rush too aggressively, which Miami has a tendency to do, they're violent up front. He can make you pay with his legs as quickly as he can make you pay with his arm. And he's not going to rush for 120 yards, but he can convert four third downs and keep drives alive and eventually wear your defense down. So I actually think Miami has a better recipe to make it a highly competitive game, but it will require perfection. And that's how you beat Indiana. Because you know Indiana's not going to beat themselves. Miami has shown at times a certain capability, like last night,
10 penalties last night,
to keep it very interesting for a very long time. That's not Indiana. They have the killer instinct dog in them that doesn't matter. They will absolutely wear you out if you allow them to. So it's going to have to be junked up in the biggest possible way, and Miami's defense is going to have to play out of control.
This is a remarkably efficient and well-coached group, this Indiana team, and they have got a monster fan base that is going to be coming from all directions down to Miami. Sweetheart, it's entertainment. Winning record in bowl games in the history of IU football. Lee Corso, 1-0, love it. And this time of year, Coach Cristobal is big on trying to go 1-0 today. Well, Kurt Signetti went 1-0 today. 2-1 in his career in bowl games. Indiana gets a step closer to the first national championship in program history. They take on the Canes, looking to grab their 6th. The last came in 2001, thanks to a team that was legendary in terms of first-rounders, NFL stars, Hall of Famers. Ed Reed, Clinton Portis were on that squad. Rosters have wildly different paths. Indiana doesn't have a single 5-star recruit, just 8 4-stars, but they've been heavy in the portal. They got a lot of adults. Miami's got 45 4 or 5-stars. Despite the difference, both teams certainly have adapted to the portal era, evidenced by their star transfer quarterbacks. Hoosiers will try to be the 3rd consecutive Big Ten team to win a national championship. Only other time that happened was from 40 to 42. For Miami, they look to join Clemson as the only ACC programs to win the college football playoff. Dusty Dvorcek is alongside. We appreciate the effort. You were with me in D.C. last night. Here we are in Atlanta, and I feel like so many of the things you have talked to me about this Indiana team showed themselves tonight. They are relentlessly prepared, and they execute at a furious level. You got a couple examples of both those things?
I do, and it's the first play of the game. It is about that preparation, and it's about that execution, and it's this D'Angelo Pons pick six. And you want to talk about a tone-setting play for this game. Laser focused from the jump, right here at the cornerback spot. And it's just a simple out route, Scotty. Ain't nothing special about this, but I want you to watch as this unfolds. And D'Angelo Pons, he's going to have vision on the quarterback the entire way, the entire time. Dante Moore is going to make this pass. A little mistake throwing it back inside. But you see as he gets out of his break, jumps that route, jumps the pass, anticipating what's coming. The preparation was there. The execution was there. And you got the sense from that moment, oh boy, Indiana came to play. And how about this? I mean, this is just so good for Fernando Mendoza, like he was all night. This safety's going to drop down. We only got one single high safety to the field. So now this is working to the boundary. Man-to-man, the freshman Brandon Finney's been really good. You know who else has been really good? Charlie B. And watch him with this inside. He's going to come inside off the line of scrimmage, win, and then get back vertical. It's all about the little things, being able to win at the line of scrimmage and do what you do. And as this unfolds, now I want you to watch Fernando Mendoza's eyes. He's going to start coming back to the left. So now his eyes are back to the left. He's holding this single high safety over here. And what did I say the other night, Scotty? If Charlie, he's leaving. And he knows. Mendoza, he's going here the whole way. He's looking to work back. But now it's about, you got the route you want. You got the 6'4 speedster, Charlie Becker. How about ball placement? Does it get any better? Look where that football is located, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot throw a better pass than that. Charlie Becker goes up. He high points it. Brandon Finney's in pretty good trail position, hand up. But strong hands from Charlie Becker. He brings it in. It's a touchdown. It looks easy. Because they make everything look easy. The way they execute, the way they prepare, it's unbelievable. We saw it from the opening snap, and we saw it all night. So far in the playoffs, Scott, Fernando Mendoza has 5 incompletions and 8 touchdowns in 2 games.
Pretty good.
It's remarkable. The accuracy he displayed tonight, I mean, whether it's back shoulder throws, whether it's that go route right there to Charlie Becker, the deep out that he threw to Charlie Becker from the far hash outside the numbers, he's letting that football go before Becker's even out of his break. And the ball is placed perfectly. He is operating at a ridiculously high level, but I could say that about all 22 players that take the field. Oh, and by the way, they got a block punt as well. Like, when you start to look at this team, I'm sure you're going to ask me, what don't they do well? I can't come up with the answer because they do everything really, really well.
You made your living playing defense. As you look at that side of the ball, in basketball, they'll say it's connected. How connected are the 11 on that side of the ball for the Hoosiers right now?
It's incredible. I mean, they work in tandem with everybody. The linebackers, when they blitz, playing off the defensive linemen. The defensive linemen, the inside twist, the inside stunts, overlapping over the top of one another. And then the coverage. I mean, they play so well in coverage, understanding routes, playing off of one another in zone coverage, even when they get into man-to-man coverage. I mean, it's a nightmare for these quarterbacks, and they'll roll coverage and change the picture post-snap to where Dante Moore, once again, did not know what he was looking at, and by the time the rush gets there, it's too late.
We showed that highlight in Happy Valley in Penn State where Mendoza led that touchdown drive. They haven't trailed much this season. They've played not just from ahead, but from way ahead. What did Miami do to Ohio State that hadn't happened to Ohio State much this year?
They came out and they punched them right in the nose, and they took an early lead.
Not just an early lead, but a two-score lead.
That's exactly right.
There's recipes for Miami to compete. I mean, we're not handing the trophy to Indiana,
no.
But it would seem to me that as much as anything, if you're Miami, you want to get rough and rugged. I get that, but you want to try to jump this team and get a lead somehow, and then try to nurse that to the finish line.
You absolutely do. You want to lean on that offensive line. You want to shrink the football game. You want to limit possessions, ball control. We saw that against Ole Miss. We saw that, in the game against Ohio State. That's exactly the recipe for this game. The one thing I'll say though, I haven't seen anybody, even Indiana, play with the violence that we've seen Miami play with. And that's the one thing that I think Mario is really going to tap into is their size up front. and the way they hit, the way they attack on the back end. Jacoby Thomas coming in, just making all kinds of big hits. That's the one thing that, we see Scott there making a big play. I don't think Indiana has dealt with that because Ohio State, they weren't ready for that. Ohio State came to that Cotton Bowl.
You had that game.
And they got punched right in the nose. And they never really recovered from that. And that's one thing I do expect Miami to do. I don't think they're going to be intimidated. I don't think they're going to be scared. And I think it's going to be on their terms in their backyard. Now, is that punch going to be enough? We're going to find out. But I do think that is one thing that Indiana has not faced yet in these playoffs, the physicality, the violence that Miami is going to bring to the table.
You want this, you got that. No way, watch them walk right past you. Run fast while you have the chance. Don't speak, let them look right at you.